Hi, this is Dean Odell with 7 Gables Real Estate and the Odell Group. It's time for another Tustin Talks. Today is April 29th, and we are going to go through the following charts on this Tustin Talks. Let me just summarize that for you real quick. We will be looking at the Orange County active listing inventory year over year. We will be looking at the increase in inventory based on price range. Then we will be looking at the Orange County demand year over year. Then we will look at that demand by price range. And we'll see how this demand is affecting expected marketing time year over year. And then we will look at the last chart, which will be just the Tustin data chart for our local area. And we will wrap it up with tips for buyers and sellers. All right, so looking at the current active listing inventory, well, for the first time in a long time, we actually have an increase in active listing inventory. How is that? We were up 144 homes or 6% from the last Tustin Talks 2 weeks ago. Actually, that last Tustin Talks was 3 weeks ago. But either way, we're up 6%. If you look at where we were last year on active listing inventory, we had 4,344 homes, which was almost 2,000 more homes out there to sell than we have currently this year. Normally, we would expect a peak in July or August. This year, we're anticipating that may be a month or two later because we are on a delayed cycle from last year's catastrophe that we're pulling ourselves out of here, right? So let's go to the next chart. Okay, looking at this active listing inventory by price range, here is what we are really happy about. The price ranges that have the most demand, which are pretty much under $1 million, have also seen the highest increases in inventory from $500 to $1 million. You can see how we have this nice increase in inventory, and boy, do we need it. Eventually, this increase in supply should slow down the market, which we'll see in that expected marketing time. It'll start creeping up. But we're still so far from a balanced market, until we can get supply and demand in sync with each other. Next, we're going to look at the Orange County demand year over year. This is interesting. You can see what happened last year at this time, and we all know why. But our demand is actually down 3% from the previous 2 weeks. Actually 3 weeks ago that we did Tustin Talks. So until this supply increases to get in better alignment with the historical averages and demand cools a bit, this market's just gonna remain really hot. Breaking that demand down by price point, which you guys know I really always like to look at, this is starting to tell a story. If you focus on share of housing inventory and share of current demand, you can see how those numbers are getting in better alignment. Things aren't quite as skewed as they've been in the past. One interesting statistic from all these sales was that 2/3 of all the closed sales that happened in the last 30 days were above list price. So multiple offers are still the norm. Houses are getting bid up, but you can see when you start getting down to, even $1,250,000 to $2 million, we're starting to get a balance there of share of inventory housing versus the current demand. So that's good. And you can see how the lower price ranges, there's still just more demand than there is supply. We're kind of creeping towards normal, but like I said, it's going to take a while. Hey, sorry to interrupt this program, but we want to make sure you are subscribed to Tustin Talk. So please click on the subscribe button below. And then if that doesn't work, just go to theodellgroup.com, or you can go to youtube.com/Tustin Talks. Now let's get you back to the program. So as I said earlier, this Orange County expected marketing time year over year, as the market slows, we should see this red line here creep up. We've gone to 23 days now from 21, so we're up 2 days. That's not a whole lot of difference. You can see the other lines from previous years and what the historical norm has been. Throw out last year, it's not really valid. It was a crazy year, as we all know. But we should see that start to go up. But until it gets to a balanced market, which is 90 to 120 days, we're still going to be in a seller's market. And that will take a while to get there. So let's get to Tustin data. Well, this data's starting to seem old. This is the only place you're going to find it is here on Tustin Talks. But if you recall, we had to delay this data because it doesn't release until the first week of April. And then we weren't able to do a Tustin Talks that week. So now this is March's data. It's we're almost into April here pretty soon. So we're almost at the point now where we can examine all of April's data, right? This is starting to get older, but still it tells a story, and we'll see how it plays out over this next month's readings. And keep in mind that all this data is being compared to last year at this time, and last year at this time, we know what we were all going through. That was a whole different market. So we like to look at the 5-year average and throw out last year. In a lot of our comparisons, we will talk about that, but for this purposes, we just did March to March. If you look at the pendings and the solds, you can see that those were way up in all the zip codes. You can see that our for sale inventory was down, especially in the 92782. I mean, my God, there was only 8 homes versus 43. They were down 81%. So that Tustin Ranch market really heated up. If you look at the pendings, they're up 130%. So that has been a big increase. If you recall old Tustin Talks, we kept talking about how we thought that Tustin Ranch market might be a little soft and that people needed to get their prices down over there. And sure enough, that must have been what happened, because all of a sudden it's taken off. If you do look at the average sold price in Tustin Ranch, you will see that that came down as well. So final statistics here that are very interesting to look at is that final list price to original list price ratio. You can see that those were all up and all were 100% or better all the way across the board. So that is how strong the demand has been and how strong pricing has been. Average days on the market's the last line, and you can see how that compares to last year in those zip codes. Okay, so normally at the end of this video, I'm giving tips to buyers and sellers, but in this week's housing report by Steve Thomas, I think he was pretty accurate. I like what he wrote, so I'm just gonna quote him this week, okay? So he's got a note to buyers and a note to sellers. I'm just gonna read it verbatim, okay? Because I know it's accurate. Okay, it's a great time to get ahead of the curve and accurately price a home right out from the starting gates. Overpricing a home is not a sound strategy. Sellers want to expose their properties to as many potential buyers as possible. Accurately pricing permits a seller to obtain as many offers as possible. Multiple offer situations allow offers to be pit against each other, and ultimately it maximizes the price obtained on a home. Later this year, as the market decelerates, overpricing can lead to fewer multiple offer situations and may even result in remaining on the market without success. So 100% right what we're experiencing. When we try to push the threshold, it does definitely slow down offers, the amount of offers that are going to come in. So make sure you're pricing off the comparable sales. Don't try to price ahead of them. The market will tell you what it's worth in this market. Like we've talked about, there's multiple offers, okay? If you have the correct process for that, it will play out to your benefit and you will see the most the market will pay for your home. And if you don't know what that process is, guess what? You got to call us, because we know what the process is and we'll help you through it. So now we're going to go to the buyers. Yes, the current market can be very frustrating, but waiting until more homes comes on the market down the road is not the answer. With home values rapidly appreciating and mortgage rates slated to increase as well, buyers who sit on the sidelines will ultimately pay more when they re-enter down the road. Higher values and higher rates equates to a larger monthly payment. The market is frustrating, but staying the course and continuing to pursue pay dirt is the wisest course of action for a buyer in today's housing market. So once again, Steve is accurate in his assessment, exactly the advice we're giving as well. One thing we know is if you don't make offers, it's impossible to get a house. So don't get discouraged. A lot of people say, oh, I don't even want to make an offer. There's gonna be so many offers on this. Well, the only thing that's guaranteed is if you make no offers, you don't get a house. Okay, so keep trying. Interest rates are closer to 3% right now. They're slated to go up to 3 3/4 before the end of the year. We've talked about this in past videos, how that is going to hurt your purchasing power. It's going to hurt it by at least probably 5 to 10%, depending on how much you're putting down. And then on top of that, you're going to have higher prices. So why would you wait, right? If you want to wait, you're going to have to wait a long time for a normal market. If you're going to wait for a plunge in prices, you're going to be waiting probably a few years at least. And we do not see a major housing correction on prices. Everything is just too strong. It's just different than the last time. And the other thing we're seeing is people are putting large down payments down. So like this whole idea that there's going to be this huge foreclosure market in the future, we just don't see any indication of that right now. This is not a housing crisis at all. So unless the economy starts just losing tons and tons of jobs or there's a major event, we just don't see anything on the horizon that is going to tank the market. Hopefully it'll slow down, even out, and it'll be easier for people to get houses, but waiting is not the answer if you have a long-term hold horizon. Okay, and thanks for watching, and if we can help you out, buyers, sellers, Buyers, we're making a lot of offers out there. We're seeing a lot of offers come in on our listings. We know what's working, what isn't, so we can help you with that as well. Sellers, give us a call. We got to start prepping those homes, getting them ready. You want them to look in top-notch shape, right? So some people think, oh, you don't have to do anything in this market because people will just buy anything. No, it's not like that. So if you want to know the best way to get your house sold and for the most money, give us a call. We'll help you out, and we'll see you on the next Tustin Talks. Hey, don't forget the Odell Group is one of the top 10 teams in Orange County. We have sold thousands of homes. So draw from our experience and let us help you out. Subscribe right now and watch our videos to educate yourself whether you're a buyer, seller, or both. And then visit our website at theodellgroup.com and reach out and let's get to know each other so we can help you. All right? Thanks. Bye-bye.